Dan Abbott. I'm making this video for my pre-reading class to show you how to convert from either meters or decimal feet into architectural units. This is from the 1A conversion sheet, and we'll bring that up here. It looks like this. So many of these we're converting from feet into meters. Come down here, said convert the following to feet, inches, and fractions in architectural units. Show all work and include all units. I should have covered this in class. I realized after the class ended that I hadn't. So let's go and take a couple of these. Instead of using the ones that are there, I'm just going to start with 10 meters. It'll be the same process. So going to my camera. So let's say we want to convert 10 meters into architectural units. Architectural units are in the form of 3 feet, 6 and 3/4 inches. That's the way an architectural unit would be written. So what we need to do first is convert the meters into decimal feet. So if you start with 10 meters, then you indicate that the conversion factor is 0.3048 meters per foot. Notice that the units are being written down for all of these. How would I get rid of meters? I'd have to divide this number into that one to get rid of those units. Then it becomes feet. So we'll bring up a calculator. We say what is 10 divided by 0.3048? That would mean 10 meters is equal to 32, and we're going to go to 4 decimal places, 0.8084. Because even though it's 0.8083, the next number is a 9, so we're going to raise that up. That's feet. So how do we convert that into architectural units? Well, we already know it's 32 feet. So we can just write that down here as 32 feet dash. Now we need to have the inches and fractions of an inch. So what we need to do is to convert 0.8084 feet into inches. So we know that there are 12 inches per foot. So what do? Multiply 12 times that number. So I'm going to actually make this as accurate as possible. We can round that, it'll be just fine. But since I'm using a calculator anyway, I'm going to subtract the 32. That leaves me with that value, which is the most accurate possible value. We'll multiply that times 12 inches per foot, and it comes out to 9.7008 inches. So that equals 9.7008 inches. Now we know how many inches we have, at least the whole number worth of inches. So what we can do is take the 9 and put it down here as 9 and a dash. Now we need to know what is 0.7008 as a fraction. 0.7008 inches times. Now we have to decide here what precision we want on our fractions. So if we want a 1/16 of an inch, we're going to multiply that by 16 sixteenths. Pardon me. If we want 1/32 of an inch, we'll multiply that by 32. So I'm going to multiply that times 32 32nds per inch. So what's going to happen is this. We're going to end up with a value over the number 32. So we're going to multiply. Once again, all I need is the 0.7008. I could have rounded that, but if I simply subtract 9 from this, that's as accurate as that's ever going to get. We take and multiply that number by 32 32nds of an inch, and it says there are 22.4 32nds of an inch. Well, 0.4 is not possible in a fraction, so we're going to go to the nearest whole number. Nearest whole number in this case is 22. So that equals 22 32nds of an inch. Or we can put down IN like that. Let me just erase that so it looks a little better. So 32 inches is either the little double mark or we put in inch. Well, 22 32nds of an inch can be reduced. So whenever the fraction has a number in the bottom that's an even number, you want to reduce it. So we'll start by taking half of this and half of that. Half of 22 is 11. Half of 32 is 16. So 11/16 is the closest value to that number. That's also in inches, so 32 feet 9 and 11/16 of an inch. So that's how you convert from meters to decimal feet to architectural units. Now if you start with decimal feet, you don't have to do the meter conversion. You just go with decimal feet. So whatever that number is right there, you take the whole number, write that down here as feet. Whatever's left over has to be converted to inches. You take that value times 12 inches per foot. Let's just put the star in here. 12 inches per foot. Then you get a value that is decimal inch. That gives you a whole number. That number goes here. Then you have a decimal value that is less than 1. 0.7008 inches times 32/32 of an inch, and that tells you that there are, in this case, 22.42 whatever, but fractions never have decimals mixed with them, so we just go to the nearest whole number. If that were a 5, the nearest whole number would be 23, but since it's a 4, the nearest whole number is 22. 22 over 32 can be reduced to 11/16. So architecturally, 10 meters is the same as 32 feet 9 and 11/16 of an inch.